Even though the Minecraft player base seems to prefer Illagers as the sort of evil villager to the game, there does exist more than just the black and white Illagers and villagers, where in the middle of these two kind of clashing ideologies we find a unique group added way before 1.11's Vindicators and Evokers. Minecraft's witches play an important part in the lore, and if we wish to uncover the secrets of the game, we'll do well to start with them, and with any luck we'll be able to see the rest of the lore through an only clearer lens once we've cracked their case. Today's video is a deeper look into one of the more obscure mobs in the entire game, one that is so often forgotten but is also, at the same time, very important. What are the witches doing in their secluded huts, and why are they shunned from villager society, and most of all, are their swamped homes the only structures to which their names are tied? All of this is what I hope to explain today, so if that's your jam, stick around. My name is Illager, and I will be your host as we go from the ages of legends to the wars of villagers, and all the way to the soggy swamps and even jungles and tundras of dungeons. I hope you enjoyed this video. It obviously took quite a bit of time to make, but with nothing else for me to say, let's jump right into the questions regarding these hatted crones, shall we? Also, side note, editor Illager here, I know that this video took way longer than it normally should have to come out. I went on a trip recently, you'll know if you saw my post about it, but it was really fun. I went and saw Petra in Jordan, and the scale is just something that the pictures can't really convey. You have to be there in person. I figured I'd share this online since it kind of explains my absence, but, you know, back onto the video, let's dive right in. Witches are in all three games set within the Minecraft universe: the base game, Dungeons, and Legends. Dungeons is pretty well established as pure canon, at least among those who know it exists, but Legends requires a certain vindication since it's only confirmed to exist as a story within the main universe, not pure lore itself. I personally believe that Legends can be used, but it can't be the definitive guide to lore crafting. Some details may have been exaggerated. The Great Hog probably wasn't that big in reality, but the key story is true and wouldn't, I believe, be warped too far into unusable material. The idea that the piglins invaded and were defeated by the entire overworld's forces all teamed up, including the warriors, proto-Illagers really, and witches, doesn't seem too absurd. All that really to say we know whence the witches came. During the war they would come about as rebellious villagers, those who broke the vows of peace that they made in order to save the world from the invading piglins, later getting booted from their homes in the villages because they fought to save their brothers and sisters' rears from the porcine menace. Honestly, that little weird hypocrisy has always bugged me more than it should. I know it's just a game, but it really does annoy me a lot more than it should. We know that the villagers had vows pertaining to peace. The villagers' pacifism has always been kind of understood as part of the canon. Look at those folded robes. But we know now through Matt Forbeck's Criterion novel, The Rise of the Arch-Illager, that the villagers definitely were pacifists, to the point of being willing to riot even into violence when someone else breaks the peace, as Archie arguably does in the book. Again, the hypocrisy, it annoys me. A quote from chapter 7 of the book when Salah, a villager, rants over Archie's behavior. "He punched one of the heroes, you know how we feel about violence." And another from later in the same chapter, "Have you ever known a villager to attempt violence against a hero before? It doesn't happen because we are peaceful people and we know better." We can be pretty certain that the villagers also had their vows back in Legends time, since only a select few became warriors or witches, not all of them, implying that something, their culture, was keeping them from even saving themselves from the piglin threat. My theory is that after the Illagers and witches were kicked out of their homes, the former went down a darker path and chose to try, through vile raids, to almost clear their names and find vindication in the eyes of the villagers. I'll make a theory on the Illagers later. They're complicated, but I promise I'm working on it. The witches, on the other hand, decided to go into a sort of hiding, feeling less resentment than the Illagers, but also knowing it was very clear they're not welcome in their old homes. Where did they go after this? I don't think many people will argue that the swamp huts were built by the witches. Obviously, after being sent out of the villages, they found the swamps and decided to stay, but that's also not the full story. There's more to cover in the other spin-off, Legend's superior cousin Minecraft Dungeons. I mentioned that the witches did exist in dungeons, but we'll do well to look deeper than just seeing a mob's name and rather see how they behave, and more so relevant to our theory here, where they spawn. Minecraft Dungeons is a great game. I honestly wouldn't be against making a video solely about why it works so well compared to Legends, and the lore the game provides is immaculate. Just as in the base game, witches are able to heal themselves and throw potions of poison at the hero. They spawn in the mainland's 2 swamp levels, the Soggy Swamp and Soggy Caves respectively, as well as off the island on the Isles of the Howling Peaks, Jungle Awakens and Creeping Winters DLCs. Their chosen homes in the wetlands make sense. The witches love to be surrounded by brewing ingredients, and the swamps and jungles are filled with these useful items for their concoctions. Even the Minecraft Dungeons handbook makes reference to this on the page about the Soggy Swamp. Their homes are more practical than anything else. But now I can hear you asking, why, oh great Dr. Sir Professor Illager PhD, would they live in the icy biomes? Well, firstly, thank you for your groveling, and secondly, that's a good question. Why would the witches choose to live in tundras? In the Creeping Winter DLC, we find the witches generally off the main level's pathways around igloo structures. In Minecraft Dungeons, witches are almost exclusively found around their own homes, in the huts of soggy swamps, and the stilted bamboo structures of the jungle, so to find them in igloos could only serve to imply that they lived in those too. The witches are using their igloos, but clearly not for the same things as the other witches from the swamps. Even though they might look the same as their jungle and swamp cousins, could the winter witches be doing something different? They are already using more advanced magic than just potions in their igloos. The Lost Settlement level gives us an enchantment table inside of its snow-built homes, a block never found in the other huts, so what else could they be doing there? What else, even more than enchanting, could they be practicing? I'll give you a hint. Horribly unethical things in the name of what they see as good. Enough of dungeons, let's return to the base game and look at its version of the igloos. Igloos exist in more than just dungeons. By now I hope everyone knows about igloos, as well as their secret basements that they also sometimes have. In case you don't know, igloos have a 50% chance of generating with a basement under the hatch beneath the carpet. Inside this basement is a villager priest and a zombified version of the same mob. On the desk beside the cells in which these mobs are housed is a brewing stand, another hint that the witches are the igloo's creator. A potion of weakness is 100% of the time found within this stand, and weakness, alongside the golden apple that is also guaranteed to spawn inside the chest, can only lead to one outcome. It's what our witches have been doing, tying in modern understanding, dungeons, and even their legends' motives into one grand structure. They are healing the zombie villagers. The witches just wanted to help the villagers, and refusing to harbor resentment after being shunned, they continued to help the villagers that would become zombies within these igloos by feeding them golden apples well weakened. In a previous video about the heroes of the game, the ancient builders who formed most of the structures, I theorized that the undead became a massive problem, and I also said, in a different video, that the heroes went to the nether to find gold on account of its healing properties, becoming the piglins in the process. And while gold isn't able to cure a normal zombie, perhaps a simpler mob could be healed. This is the case. It seems like the witches knew this enough to construct igloos solely for the purpose of rehabilitating the zombified villagers. The witches came to be only because they wanted to save their kind from the piglins, and even continued to save them from a new threat, the undead, after being exiled. However vile their actions look, or even are, they're doing something with good intentions. And yes, they are part of the raids, but they never hurt any of the villagers, only aiding the Illager allies with healing potions, who share the same history. They try to attack any hero they still see, but it all runs back to how they were perceived,
However good they've been, or at least think themselves to be, they will be hunted because some people won't understand. Witches are doing something. They are the chaotic good faction in a world of neutral evil Illagers and chaotic evil piglins. I can't really judge their god playing, because that's just how it is. Originating in a chaotic world, now they only want to keep it from dying to a different threat. I hope you enjoyed this theory, honestly. I know I'm supposed to be working on a creeper video, but it's just not being cooperative, and I also just can't be bothered, so haha. You'll have to deal with it being late. I'm planning on maybe not doing a lore video for my next one, but I will be sure to post more like this soon. I think this is a really good video. I'm pretty sure I say that about every theory, but I hope you enjoyed it. It was pretty fun to make, and more than that, it was a good topic to cover, as it sets up a couple more future theories. Whatever you do, make sure not to take my word as canon. I don't have the definitive lore to the game, and remember to keep on theorizing new ideas for yourself, making original speculations, and always remembering to keep on loring. I will see you next time. Bye.